Hello friends, this is Rajiv Sharma. Well, this is a special video because today is a special occasion. Today is the 29th death anniversary of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. Well, 22 years ago, I had published this book. Now, you can see that the book is in a quite a battered condition. It is called Beyond the Tigers, Tracking Rajiv Gandhi's Assassination. It has been published by Kaveri Books, Daryaganj, New Delhi. Foreword is by Raja Vijay Karan, who was the CBI director at the time when Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated and when SIT, Special Investigation Team, was probing his assassination. Now, I would like to give you a few anecdotes. I will also tell you about a few things about the book. But before everything else, at the very outset, I must thank Anil Jain, the co-publisher of this book, without whose efforts this book would not have been written in the first place, let alone be published. It was Anil Jain's dogged pursuit of this idea whenever I used to discuss with him, that he would not leave me even for a single day. And I completed this book in writing this book in about 50 days' time. And of course, I must also be thankful to the publisher of this book, Rakesh Goyal. Now, let me just read out the three quick takes by three different people, which are published on the back cover. I'm just reading out. This is the cover. This is the first quote is from Raja Vijay Karan, which is taken from his foreword to the book. As I said, that he was a CBI director at the time of Rajiv Gandhi's assassination and personally supervised the investigation as the CBI chief. I quote Vijay Karan. He says, "In several ways, the book reminds me of a police case diary. So much material has been harnessed and in such painstaking details that it appears as though the author was the chief investigating officer of the case." Now look at the next comment from Kiran Bedi, a celebrated IPS officer, in fact the first woman IPS officer of the country, the current Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry. Now here I quote Kiran Bedi, the Magsaysay Award winner. Her comment is, you will find it interesting, it is just contrary to Raja Vijay Karan's quote. I quote Kiran Bedi. "A gripping account which keeps you sitting on your chair's edge. I got the impression that I was not reading a book but watching a film. It is as if the assassin himself is writing. It is as if that the assassin himself is writing. A must for all police academies. This is how an investigation is done." Now I come to the third quote, which is produced at the back cover. This is by my former boss and a veteran journalist, T.R. Ramachandran, a famous, very well-known TV commentator and political analyst. Here, this is what T.R. Ramachandran says, I quote, "Unputdownable. It is possible that you may not read this book from cover to cover at one go. There may be an attempted burglary in your house, or you may have the Prime Minister as a visitor." Well, folks, I must tell you now, several times, several filmmakers did approach me seriously for making a film on this book, which is I, which is still recognized as an investigative thriller. In fact, one should not pat one's own back, but here I must tell you the credentials of my writing this book. I was the only journalist in India, in fact, in the world, who covered Rajiv Gandhi investigation from all possible angles, aspects. Both the commissions of inquiry, Verma Commission of Inquiry, which went into the larger issues about the lapses, security lapses which led to the assassination, and the Jain Commission of Inquiry by Justice MC Jain, which went into the conspiracy aspects of the assassination. While the Verma Commission, headed by Justice J.S. Verma, who went on to become Supreme Court judge, it submitted its report within a year. The Jain Commission labored on for years, and I had the privilege of covering each and every hearing of both Verma Commission and Jain Commission. And besides, I covered CBI on a real-time basis. In fact, in a very proactive manner. So let me just read out. It is not possible to to give you a readout of the entire 278 pages of the book, but let me just read out what is reproduced in the inside flap of the book. Rajiv Gandhi's assassination remains the most mysterious political murder in the history of independent India. Was it the handiwork of a group of fall guys who executed the conspiracy without knowing who their general was? It seems to be the case. It is not just the LTT which did it. Of course, the LTT was involved, but there were forces beyond the tigers. Hence the title, Beyond the Tigers. A jet-setting tantric, a clique of unscrupulous politicians, hand in glove with international arms dealers and terrorists, obliging foreign secret agencies, and above all, an overly ambitious late Sri Lankan president, R. Premadasa. These could have an important bearing on Rajiv's assassination. Beyond the Tigers seeks to probe these questions and makes out a strong case for the government to order fresh police investigations into the dark areas of Rajiv's assassination. It should not matter which political party Rajiv Gandhi belonged to. It is the question of salvaging the Indian honor which has been mauled by foreign forces on Indian soil. So this is the reason of writing this book. Now, let me just give you one or two quick anecdotes. When this book was published, I presented this book to the then Home Minister, the current veteran BJP leader, Shri L.K. Advani. I got a call from Mr. Advani's office and I was summoned. To cut the long tail short, I gave him two sessions, two briefings, as Mr. Advani himself called. And one briefing, he was very particular that I was on time. I could not reach on time. And his PN had really lambasted me that Sahib is waiting for you. I said, it shows the green red light. And he said, no, don't worry, Home Secretary is sitting with him, but you go inside. I went. And he said that, no, today you must brief me because the Congress delegation is meeting me a few hours later today. And I have to announce in Parliament the constitution of MDMA, that is multidisciplinary, MDMA, that multidisciplinary monitoring agency to investigate Rajiv Gandhi assassination, though it is a different matter that MDMA never took off. But L.K. Advani told me one very important thing. He said that, you see, we are the right government to be in the office at the right time as far as finding the truth of who killed Rajiv Gandhi, because we do not have any political hang-ups. We are totally impartial and objective. So, and last anecdote, let me tell you, these are for the first time I'm sharing these anecdotes with anyone. On this platform I'm sharing. Justice G.P. Wadhwa, who was one of the judges on the division bench of Supreme Court, who delivered a judgment on Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. So I got to know that the verdict has been reserved. So I happen to know him since long. So I reached him, went to his Motilal Nehru bungalow and Motilal Nehru Marg bungalow, and I was ushered in. He was in his study in the outhouse. The study was in a, the Motilal Nehru Marg bungalows are, old style, tall ceilings and all, and at both side, every side of this, from flooring to ceiling, there were racks and files were put up there. So I gave him the book, and again I saw him, same place. He said, "Do you see these files? What are they?" I said, "I don't know, sir." So he said, "These are 10 truckloads of files. All these pertain to Rajiv Gandhi assassination. I have read your book. All these files apart, all these files in at one place, and your book, 278 pages, your book weighs heavier." So folks, let me not brag about myself any further. Do read this book yourself and find out yourself. First post I had reproduced prologue and first 2 chapters of this book. In fact, if you follow me on Twitter, see my Twitter handle @Kishkinda. Today I have reproduced the prologue of this book. So do read this book, folks, and give me your comments. Thank you very much.